Welcome to another episode of OG55. I got Tonez Papi in the house today. We're talking about dating in the nerd space. As a nerd, as a Disney fan or just a nerdy fan, MCU, Star Wars, whatever your nerdy thing is, what is your criteria in the dating space in regards to what you need from your significant other? We're going to talk about it, break it down. Up next on OG. Oh. Welcome aboard, everybody, to the episode of OG55. We got the one, the only Tonez Papi, aka T. Papi. Tonez, how you doing today, sir?
Yeah, I'm blessed, man. I'm having a good day so far. Woke up a little eye irritation, but other than that, I'm good, man. Everything's been recently. I've been happy. I've been a very happy man. Everything's been. We're in the process of moving back to Cali and trying to get that set up. So I've been excited for what's to come. So I'm in a good space right now.
Absolutely, stay blessed. And this is the thing too. We got the Italiano now in California, and now we got Tonez coming to Cali.
Absolutely,
this is gonna be good. Tonez, you do amazing stuff over at Bad Thoughts Studio and Bad Thoughts Podcast. If you want to let everybody know where they can find you, and I'll link it down below as well.
Yeah, you guys can find me at Tonez_TV on X and TikTok. You guys can also find me on my YouTube channel. So we have a podcast, Bad Thoughts Podcast, for those who don't know. Zach, X, and Candid, we talk a bunch of shit together. We have game nights together, have a lot of fun. If you want to go to my personal YouTube, Bad Thoughts Studio, I talk about movies, TV shows, breakdowns of trailers, breakdowns of, we did one with Jay and OG recently of the directors, and we talked about actors saying certain things. So we have full breakdowns of film, which I enjoy very much. So you guys can go there on YouTube.
Absolutely, check out Tonez and the Bad Thoughts crew over there at both Bad Thoughts Podcast and Studio. Like Tonez was saying, the OG crew constantly over there doing collabos with them. So follow us over there as well. Check us out over there at the Bad Thoughts. They do amazing work. Family over here at OG55. So make sure you smash that subscribe button.
Yes, sir.
So yes, sir. So Tonez, I wanted to dive in. We've kind of been dipping into this topic lately because we did a couple of Disney adult videos, and George had some interesting thoughts in regards to like what he kind of expects from like a significant other. We were kind of going back and forth, all of us, in regards to that. You've recently did a video on your Bad Thoughts podcast talking about dating and stuff, hilarious stories and stuff going on with that. So I'm like, you know what, let's take these two and kind of combine them, right? Like, so for you, Tonez, like you're into, like you're cool, you like Disney, right? You like Disney, but I would say you're more into like like Game of Thrones, like MCU stuff. Is that more your kind of nerdy bag?
Yeah, that's where I'm more knowledgeable at, for sure. I get more excited, and I do theories on what I see next on mostly Game of Thrones universe and Marvel. I dip into a little bit of DC, but it's so hard, especially now. I'm going to be a little bit more just because I know James Gunn is where he's at, and he's going to set his own universe. So I'll dip into DC a little bit more, but Marvel and Game of Thrones is where my nerdiness really comes in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I kind of do the Disney theme park, Disney nerdy stuff, and then I also dip into what you're into. I love the MCU and all that good stuff. Star Wars too. I'm a big Star Wars guy. Although lately, I don't know, I'm kind of dipping, a little bit, but it'll be back. But now for you, because you and I are both single, right? We're both single, and I want to dive into this with you, like in the dating scene, like as kind of like a nerd, you're into this stuff. Like, how important is that to you, like personally? Like for George, it was very important. For me, I'm kind of like, well, as long as she's open-minded about it, I'm cool. She doesn't got to be on the same level. But where do you stand with that?
And that's where I'm at as well. Like, for instance, when there's a common ground that we can maybe, talk about, and, we end up liking each other because we have a passion for it, it's pretty cool. Like, Disney for George is something that when it comes to the woman he likes, if they're into Disney, they can mesh together, talk about it, and bond over it. I don't get me wrong, I don't mind if that happens, but it's not a necessary thing for them to be in the same thing I am when it comes to me liking you. If I like you, it's because of your personality, the way you carry yourself, you're down to earth, of course your beauty, stuff like that. And that is what means more to me than what you're into. Of course, if you're into like devil worshiping or something
Yeah,
crazy, I might,
some weird shit.
yeah, I might have, some kind of comments and may push back a little bit, but other than that, it's just like if there's a common ground that we can come to and you're open-minded about what I like and I'm open-minded about what you like, and we're kind of talking about this before the show, if I like something and you don't know much about it, it's kind of it's a cool bonding experience because I could tell you about it, and the same thing that goes, for the other side. You could tell me the same thing, and you could tell me, give me the knowledge about it, and we can bond over that as well. It's a cool bonding experience for sure.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm with you, brother. I'm kind of like on the same boat. Like I'm kind of like, as long as she is open-minded to like learning about what I'm into, I'm all good. Like my ex-girlfriend, longtime ex-girlfriend, we were together for over a decade. Crazy, right? But like she came here in 2005 from Vietnam. Now she was pretty young, so she's, she was pretty Americanized overall, but like her parents weren't,
Gotcha,
so it was
okay.
kind of fun because her parents weren't exposed to the Disney thing at all. I mean, they were
Absolutely.
from the countryside in Vietnam. They had no idea about the Disney thing. So it was really fun to take her parents to the parks and experience that for the very first time and kind of educate them on that and see what their perceptions are and all that good stuff. So it's kind of fun to teach people too. And on the other side of the coin, though, like what you're saying, Tones, is like the female could, or the guy, whatever your situation is, like can also teach you about their world.
Absolutely.
And that you might not have given a chance before, so yeah, I'm with you. It's as long as there's like an open mind, we're good. Now, like I'm very much into Disney, right? Like I mean, I got a whole YouTube channel for it. I dedicate a lot of time to it. So obviously if the girl is like, yeah, I hate the Mouse House, like fuck Disney, like obviously that's not gonna work,
Yes.
but if she's like, hey, I'm not like super into it, but I'm willing to kind of learn, hey, we're off to the races. We're good,
Exactly. And I'm the same way when it comes to sports, for instance. For those who don't know, I'm a huge sports guy. I'm probably more into sports than I am into anything else. And music, of course. But when it comes to sports, like for instance, if we liked different teams and they were right, like growing up in San Francisco, my pops grew up in Oakland and he grew up watching the A's and the Raiders. But I grew up in San Francisco, so there was nothing but San Francisco Giants fans and 49er fans. So like that kind of competition, if it were to go into a relationship, some people won't date certain people who are into teams, which is insane to me, but believe me, it
Wow,
happens. But
that's wild.
yeah, but I grew up with, when I would date a female or talk to a female, take one out, they would always be, into the Giants or the 49ers, which is fine. There's not a big deal to it, but it's also fun as well. So like there's that bonding experience that I personally like that's, especially when it comes to music, bro. Music is something that, we've done music video reactions, and
Yeah.
I have music notes tatted on my arm. Like music is very important to me. There's no better, I want to say, bonding experience than listening to the same music that your significant other listens to. Like you
Oh,
listen to a song and you guys both like the song and you guys played all the time. Like that is a beautiful kind of bonding experience, So
oh,
that's what
100%.
that's the kind of like love and bonding experience that I prefer, but it's not necessary either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Have your exes, have you lucked out in that department? Like, has she been into the same kind of music, generally speaking, like in the past?
Yeah, a lot of music that I've been introduced to is like Spanish music, Mexican music. Like, um, I don't know the exact name of the genre, but it's Mexican Spanish music, and I've dated Latinas who prefer that kind of music, and I've been introduced to that, and I fell in love with a couple songs. Like those songs are beautiful, even though I don't know the words to them because I don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
You could just tell by the beat and the message that it's sending by the way they're singing it. It's a beautiful song. So I've been introduced to it like that. But I don't think I've dated someone that liked like music to the point where I don't like them or
Yeah.
I won't listen to the music, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean I'll listen to anything. They're just a preference that I have. But
Yeah.
I don't think I've dated a woman who likes certain music that I'm like, no, I can't listen to this.
Yeah, me neither. Like me and my recent ex had like different tastes for sure, but
Mm,
but there was also some overlap there. Like that she'd be like she was into some like she was into some hip hop, not a huge hip hop person, but there was enough there, R&B, things like that, where it was like, okay, we're good. We don't agree on all of it.
yeah.
But and the other thing too that I think is really beautiful, Tones, is like you were saying, like with Spanish music and stuff. It's like, and you were saying you don't really know the words, but you vibe with it. And I'm kind of the same way. And I want to get into Spanish music actually. I need to dive into that. But I've gotten into the K-pop thing, and I don't really understand a lot of like Blackpink and stuff. They're kind of Americanized now. They kind of do a lot of English songs, but a lot of these groups, they do a lot of like Korean. I don't understand a lick of Korean, you know what I'm saying? But I still vibe with the song, and that's what's beautiful about the music stuff. It's like you were talking about, where it's like you can vibe with something, and it kind of transcends like the language barriers, right? Like
Absolutely.
you don't even know Spanish, like you don't speak Spanish, and I don't speak Korean, but like we still vibe with that music. Music is like literally like a universal language.
That's I love how you said that. It's a universal language, literally, and that I think that's why it resonates with every culture. Doesn't matter if you know the words or you know what they're saying. You know that it means something to someone because someone's listening to it at that moment, and that's what I love about music in general. And vibing over something vibing over music with someone is one of the most like beautiful ways of bonding because of that, because of how powerful music can be. Music saves millions of people's lives just by hearing a song and resonating with that song. And I'm not saying everyone goes through mental health issues, but if people do and they listen to music, that's a big part of why some people don't continue life with bad mental health issues, is because they listen to certain music. Growing up with me, I listen to a lot of rap and R&B. One of the main reasons why I love J. Cole is because he came out with music when I was in high school, and I was going through a rough time in high school. Not like terrible mental health issues, but family issues. Being a teenager, all that good
Yeah.
stuff. And he came out with songs that literally touched what I was seeing in real life, and that's what made me like him then, and respect him now, because he continues to do the same thing over and over, is touch on certain things that people are going through. And that's what music does to people, and that love for music that some people have, and like I said, that bonding experience that you can have with someone, it's just untouched by any other thing, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And you're right. When you're in a any kind of mood, really, like if I'm feeling kind of like angry or like whatever, I can listen to like music like Pac, a little more aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Get that
Yeah.
out. You know what I'm saying? Or like if I'm feeling lovey dovey, you can listen to like like Boys to Men or whatever. But like it speaks to you and kind of helps you. It like channels that energy in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, high school was crazy too for me, because it was like it's funny because your high school, it's almost like these albums that we listened to in high school are like literally like the soundtrack to those years.
Yeah.
Like, and I know we're different ages or whatever, but like when I was in high school, like the Life After Death album from Biggie was
Biggie.
like,
Yeah.
oh, huge, dude, and like, that was like the album that really shaped my high school years and things like that. But it's like, and now I can't even like listen to those songs without like reminding myself of high school. But it's crazy what a big impact those songs, that album, you think about circumstances, situations, friends, everything relate. All you have to hear is one song and it brings all that back.
All the way back. And like I said, that's the beauty of music. It is nostalgia, but at the same time, you forget some of those lyrics years later, and you hear it again, you're like, fuck, this still hits with me right now. And that's the beauty of it for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. So with the dating thing, like, I wanted to ask you too, because you guys dive into this a lot with your podcast, which is fascinating stuff. What do you think right now? Because it's weird right now, right? Like, it's weird because it's like a lot of dating stuff right now. I feel like is like social media driven or like app driven, right? And for me, I'm kind of a little more old school with stuff. Like, I'd rather, like, if I see a cute girl, like, I'd rather, like, it's hard, but I'd rather like approach, like, if I see a cute girl like at like Universal Studios or something, right? I'd rather like, oh hey, what's up, or make a casual conversation and see where it goes, right? That's kind of more my style. I'm not really like an app guy, and I think it's maybe I'm a little older. That's why it's not really my thing. But what do you think about that? Like, in terms of like this current landscape right now, like, you're single and then you have these apps, like, where do you stand with that? Do you like these apps, or are you more kind of like me where you're like, you know what, if I see a cute person, I'll go and talk to them and like, just straight up, how do you feel about that?
See, when it comes to apps, there's this stupid running joke that the boys have on the podcast that,
Okay.
because I'm not gonna lie, I've been on dating apps before, just
Yeah.
because of where I live. There's not many. I live in a rural area. There's not no girls out here, right? So I hopped on dating apps, and there's a running joke that because TikTok and the dating app that I'm on, that I just attract Latinas, and it's irritating. But anyway, I'm on them. I don't mind them. I personally have not found someone that I've dated long term through these apps. Not saying that it's impossible to do or it's not going to happen for me, but I've yet to do it. I prefer going up to someone, or meeting someone organically, maybe at a coffee shop, or a friend of a friend who thought I was cute or I thought she was cute, whatever the case may be. I prefer that. I really do. But as far as like dating apps and social media, like, I see people who are happy by finding someone on those platforms, which is good, which is okay. But it just depends. It really depends, because I like a natural kind of like get to know someone and see their personality, see who they really are, if they're loving, if they're caring, if they're an asshole, if they're rude. Like, those are the things I like to see organically. So that's what turns me, or not turns me on, but that's what attracts me to you. It attracts me to that person. So I have yet to meet someone and get that kind of attraction, but I'm sure it happens. I'm personally, I don't mind it. Long story short, I don't mind it.
You don't mind it, but you're kind of like, you don't mind it, but you kind of like, you kind of would prefer like the more in-person approach, so to speak, would be like your preference. Yeah,
absolutely. And there's people who use it for other things, just hookups and all that stuff, which is fine if that's what you two agree on. That's what you two agree on, whatever. But I've never been that kind of person to just hook up with someone. So there's that kind of fine line that you have to walk. Like, are you just talking to me because you want to hook up? Are you talking to me because you want something long term? That is the kind of thing that I hate about those apps or social media in general, is because you tell them what you want something long term and all this stuff, but you guys hook up first night and it's like, do you really want something long term? Because that's not what you're supposed to do if you want something. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, 100%. And you're right. I'm glad you brought that up, Tones, because there's a lot of that kind of shady behavior. Like, I shouldn't say shady behavior, because like sometimes it just happens, like first night, whatever. But there is, though, shady behavior with those apps where like there's females that will like literally use dudes for like free dinners and shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's like they have no intention of taking it any further, but it's like, hey, you know what? I get a free meal, and you gotta be careful out there, fellas, because you never know. And that's the thing, you don't really know. You don't really know someone's intention, you know what I'm saying? And it takes a little bit of like social intelligence to sort of feel that out, I think, because I think with apps, I think there's quality women out there that obviously are on those apps. And there's also a lot of opportunistic women who will do that, who will like just say, hey, I want a free meal and I'm going to, so you, as a man, you sort of have to like feel that out and sort of judge that for yourself. And most people can kind of like you kind of get the vibe. You can kind of tell, like, okay, this chick ain't about it. She's just about the free meal, you know. So,
And
you know,
we were talking about this on the podcast. So two things. We had there was a story that we had saw, and I had brought it up to the boys, and I'll ask you the question.
Sure.
If you went on a first date with a woman, right, and
Okay.
you guys were having a good night, and she starts ordering more food before you guys get out of there, and she asks to take it to go, and she's like, "Oh, I'm taking food back home to my kids," and she's saying that as it, and telling you that because you're paying for it. Now, what is your thought process there, and what do you do in that spot? Think
Oh.
about it real quick, and I'll tell you what happened in this video is why I asked the question. So I saw the video. This girl was ordering food, and the guy was filming, and he goes, "Are you ordering more food? Like, are you hungry? Are you?" And she goes, "No, I'm ordering for my kids." And he goes, "Okay, are you paying for your kids?" She was like, "No, you said you were paying." And I was like, "Yeah, I was paying for our food because we're on a first date together."
Right.
And she goes, "So you're not going to pay for my kids' food? They need to eat." And he goes, pretty much like, "That's not my problem. Like, where's their dad? Have them, you know what I'm saying?" So I asked the boys that, and they were kind of like, they were like, "Yeah, maybe I'll pay for it, but I'll never see her again." Or tell her to, tell her, "Fuck no, I'm not paying for that shit." So what would you do in that situation?
Okay, so this is interesting, right? There's so many layers to this. It's crazy.
Yes, it's
Because number one, she's saying that she's paying, okay, beyond the monetary stuff, right? She has kids with some other dude.
Yeah.
So
By the way, you knew this before. You knew this before.
Oh,
That she did
okay.
have kids.
Okay. But that in and of itself is kind of an issue because like the baby daddy's involved no matter what. Like he has to be. You know what I'm saying, right? So he's part of the equation. So that kind of changes stuff a little bit. But this is what I'm talking about though with the opportunistic stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she goes on a date with you and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna pile on. I want to feed my kids for a week now on your dime."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, for me, that would be a huge red flag. And I'd be like, you know what? Here's the thing. If you go through with that, right? And you're like, cool, you know what? I'll pay for this. And, you know, like you're setting the tone for the whole relationship potentially because you're letting her know that you're a doormat.
Yeah.
Like you're a doormat. Like, oh yeah, I'll pay for you. I'm a simp. Like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter. You know, like for me, I would put my foot down and say, look, I'm paying for your dinner. We're on a date. That's cool. But your kids are your responsibility. So if you want that, that's a separate check. You know what I'm saying? Like for me personally, because I think like, and I know that sounds kind of like being a jerk, but really, I mean, I kind of feel like when you're taking advantage like that, dude, like, no, I'm not cool with that. Like we're on a date. That's cool. I'll pay for you. I'm the man. I provide. That's fine. But if you're going to sit there and like now take advantage of that and try to milk me for all I got, like, nah, dude, that ain't going to work. And that's on the first date. You have to understand that that's going to bleed into everything. You think first date, can you imagine what the rest of the relationship is going to look like? I'll be, dude, it's a mess.
Yeah, and that's where I was at too, and maybe third or fourth date, and I would have even been like, "Oh, you want to grab something for the kids before we leave?" Like,
right?
That's enough. Like, I would hope if the roles were reversed and I did the same, and someone asked me that, like, "Oh, you want to bring some food home for the kids?" Of course, yeah, let's do it. Like that's different from like, "Oh, by the way, I'm you're gonna buy my kids some food because I have to go home and they're hungry." Like it's crazy how that happens. And believe it or not, OG, this shit happens a lot, dude. It happens a lot. And sometimes those you get those dudes who are like, "Oh, no worries, I got this. Yeah, just whatever you guys want, whatever." And then that's, like you said, that's where it starts. That's where the shit goes downhill from there, even though you guys are already starting at the bottom.
You're starting at the bottom. And I guarantee you that the guy who does that and like bends over, capitulates, and does all that stuff is not getting any. She doesn't respect you at all.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? She doesn't respect you at all. You're gonna go home. You're not gonna get any, and you're gonna be out, on an extra $100 to feed her kids.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous, man. And that's the problem, is that a lot of guys are willing to do that, and it kind of like messes it up for everybody.
And let me specify this. I'm not saying that a lot of women do this. I'm just saying it
No.
happens.
Oh
It
yeah.
happens because the not don't get me wrong, the women out there are fucking so independent and so just well driven that paying for food is not a problem, not even an issue to me. That shit, like, if of course I would pay for the food. No, I wouldn't even think about it, just pay for it, whatever.
Right.
Not in that situation, just like if I was on a date with someone.
Of course. Yeah.
But if a woman was like, "Oh, I'll get this tonight" or whatever, like I don't sit there and argue because it's not an issue for me. Like buying food, we have to eat every day. Whoever buys the fucking food it's not an issue. If you don't want to
Yeah.
buy it, I'll buy it. Like it's you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but some people they not all women, just some, they actually do that, and I just thought that was fucking mind boggling to me. Mind
Dude,
boggling, dude.
that's ballsy, man. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't do that to a friend. Like if I
Nope.
was out with George, me and George is, hanging out, we went to Chili's or something, I'm not going to sit there and go, "Hey bro, you know what? Because you like, let's say I gotta go to dinner with George, and like he's like, yeah, I got you, bro, I got you. Oh, all right, George, cool. Well, hey, you know what? My sister and my mom, my dad, like I wouldn't even do that to a friend
Exactly.
that I've known and I'm close with. You know what I'm saying? Let
Yeah.
alone like if you're on a date and it's like the first date, and then you're piling on like that. To me, that shows that you're just taking advantage, and like you're just like, hey, you know what? I'm probably not going to see this guy again, so let me get every last dollar I can out of him.
Yep. Exactly.
Huge red flag, man.
So
Now, how do you
go
feel
ahead.
about? I was gonna ask you too, like in terms of like paying and stuff, because like I'm a little bit of a traditionalist when it comes to that. Like I think at least when you're kind of new with it,
Mhm.
like the dude should pay and provide and be the guy, right? Like so, if you ask a girl out, like that's on you, like you pay, right? At least when you're in that courting stage, when you're new, like when you're a boyfriend, girlfriend, it's kind of different. You know what I'm saying? Like you're kind of
Absolutely.
like in a relationship. If she wants to treat you, that's all good.
Mhm.
But like if you're in that, like, your first few dates, like the dude should like, I think, pay for it. You know what I'm saying? But
100%. And I'm the same way as you, bro. And by the way, your age is showing when you said courting.
yeah, I know, right? Exactly. Exactly, bro. Yeah, exactly.
No,
Yeah, but
but I'm the same way, OG. You know, I say this often because it means that much to me. But my dad, the way he treats my mom and the way I saw him treat my mom, it was nothing but respect and love for her. And I mean, he still does to this day. But I would be disrespecting my father's, you know, parent being my father if I were to do anything less than what he did. He paid for everything. He showed me how to be a man, and that's what a man does. And of course, like you said, first couple dates, and that's the thing. These people nowadays, they like, oh, let's go to fucking Nobu on the first date. Fuck that. Fuck that. You can go to Nobu when we're getting fucking when we're getting married or I'm fucking proposing to you. Like
right.
Nobu on the first date, you're tripping, by the way. But I say this all the time. First date, we go to a fucking Mexican restaurant. I take you out for some ice cream. We go sit by the beach or whatever the case may be. Call it
Right.
a day. That's a great first date. You're not spending thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars on something that you don't know if she likes you after the first date. You don't know if you like her after the first date. Like even a taco truck. Let's go to a fucking taco truck. Bring the food to a view spot. Eat the food. Go get some ice cream. Like that's the kind of dates I do for first dates.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you don't like it. I'm not for you. That's what it is. And that's how we're going to mesh well if you fucking like, yeah, fuck yeah, taco truck, let's fucking go. Like
Yeah.
that's the kind of women I like. Like even
Yeah.
you will get the expensive dates for sure. If I like you a lot and I think I see a future with you because that's what I do when I speak to a female. Does she have potential to be a wife, a potential to be someone that I could see myself with long term? Then of course I'm gonna fucking take you out to these expensive ass restaurants. But
Right.
first date, second date, third date, like you guys are meshing well. Like go to a Mexican restaurant, Italian restaurant, something light. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
those are the kind of dates I like to do, and of course I'm the one who pays.
Of
So
course. No, 100%, bro. I'm with you on that because the dating experience is to find out if you guys like each other, right?
mhm.
So I don't even know if I like you yet. And I'm gonna take you to this expensive restaurant. I don't even know if we vibe yet. So why are we doing this? Like, yeah, like you said, if we're in this and we're in a relationship and it's like, it's our anniversary or it's, you know, we're kind of established, by all means, you know what I'm saying? We'll take you to a fancy dinner, treat you, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
First date, in my opinion, like see, here's the thing. It's a two-way street. It's not an interview.
Yep.
Like I have to like you too. So it's not just about you liking me. I gotta like you too, right? So it's like we so how do I even know I like you enough to even do that yet? So let's go ahead and start off like like you were saying, like the taco truck thing is awesome, bro. Like the taco truck thing, or a nice little Mexican place, or get like sushi, whatever, right?
Mhm.
Get to know each other. If you're vibing, and then it goes on, and now you've been together for like a month. Okay, now you know what? Now we can elevate to like the nicer stuff, right? Because now we feel each other. We're more established. But out the gate, and see, that's the thing too, Tones, is that's how you weed out like the opportunistic people.
100%.
Because if you're telling the girl on the first date, we're gonna just go to a low key Mexican place with a food truck, the girl who's like trying to buy her kids all this food and like upcharge you ain't gonna be down for that, right? No. So that's how you weed out the shadiness a little bit. You get the genuine people when I'm down for the taco truck. Hell yeah, let's do that. You know what I'm saying? Because she's about you and getting to know you. And it's not about the money.
And I'll fall in love right there. If she says taco truck, hell yeah. All right, bet. No, you want to get married now? Like,
I'm with you on like, that. I'm with you on that.
I love that, bro. And like, don't get me wrong. I like materialistic things. There's some things that I love. Cars. I mean, I don't love cars, but I would like a nice car. I would like a nice house, nice shoes, all this good stuff. But it doesn't make that. I don't need that shit. That's why I don't buy materialistic shit. And I like the same thing with the female. Like, of course, you're gonna like nice things, but it's not like a must that you need it. You know what I'm saying? One thing I want to say is the story with Candid.
Yeah.
So we did a podcast. We talked about the same situation. We asked him, and he said that he went on a date with a girl, and of course, Candid being Candid, he goes and fucking says her name on the podcast. Yeah, and not just that, he's like, "Fuck you."
Anyway, oh man, Candid.
Anyway, it's Candid, right? So he goes, yeah, I did the oh fuck, I forgot my wallet thing, where you're like patting your pockets trying to find your wallet, and he goes, do you mind pay for it? I can't find my wallet. And she goes, well, my ex-boyfriend would have never told me to pay for it. Why should I pay for it? And he goes, okay, bet. So he pulls out his wallet, he pays for it, he grabs both ice creams and walks out and leaves. Left her right there.
That's
and and Zach said the same kind of thing, where he'd be like, oh, I can't fucking find my wallet. And if a girl, just to see what she would say, like, oh, don't worry, I got it, no worries, that kind of gesture. Or like, fuck, what do we do now? And then Zach, he'll find his wallet, but he likes doing that just to see where their heads at in that situation. Like, are you okay with paying for it? Are you like, not gonna, are we gonna fucking sit here and wash dishes if I didn't bring my wallet? Like, where is your headset at, or your mindset at? So there's little things that men do to where we can pick out the opportunistic people and see where they're at, and it's an attractive thing for men to do that and find out that this girl is like, fuck yeah, I got it, no worries. Like, that is hot to us. Like, we love hearing that. We don't want you to pay, but we just want to see where your head's at, because at the last second you're like, what the fuck do I do?
No, it's 100%. That's what it is. It's not about the dollar amount, because ice cream isn't that expensive. It's no big deal, right? But it's like, it shows you where the girl's head's at and what their kind of motivations are, right? And it's like, even like here's the other thing too. A lot of women nowadays, they might even ask you out. They might even say, hey, we should go out to dinner sometime, right? It's like, in that situation, are you obligated to pay? If she's asking you to go out, are you obligated to pay? Because now it's like her idea. Yeah. Right. So it's like, that's interesting too, because that's another thing where you could potentially get into like this opportunistic situation. Because like, if the girl is asking you, she might be kind of trying to like get a free meal out of you. So it's like, where do you do with that? Like, are you like, if she's asking you, do you pay? Or do you, or because she asked, like the etiquette is more like, hey, maybe she should pay. What are your thoughts on that, Tones?
So
It's kind of tough.
Repeat the question because I think I want to say something, but repeat the question for me.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just say, for example, you're talking to a girl, like say, like just on Instagram or something, right? And she's like, "Hey, we should go out sometime. Let's go out to let's go out to eat."
Okay.
Because she asked.
Yes. So we talked about this, and
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure you said the same thing I asked, or that we talked about. So we talked about this on the podcast. If she asks and she like, hey, you want to go out to dinner tonight? Are you free to go to dinner tonight? I'll say yes or whatever, and we go out. I don't mind paying. Like I don't care about like I said before, the person who pays for me is not important because we both need to eat. I'm just there to see if I like you or not. But of
Right.
course, we have to see where your head's at when it comes to that stuff. I like the idea of whoever asks who out should pay. I don't mind that. I'm usually the one who asks, the women out anyway, so I don't really have a problem with someone asking me and then they pay for it. But there's a lot of people out there where I'm like, where especially dudes, where they hear that like, oh, you're asking me to go out to dinner, so that means you're gonna pay. I don't like that mindset because if when the roles are reversed, I don't want her to have that mindset. I don't want her to worry about who the fuck's paying because it's
Right.
unnecessary stress on both of us on who the fuck's paying, and it shouldn't be. I want to be there for us and to see where this goes rather than who the fuck is paying for the end of the night. Should I not order an extra beer because I don't know if I want her to spend so much? You know what I'm saying? Like
Right. Right. No,
unnecessary stress
100%.
for both of us.
No, 100%. And that's the thing too. If she's asking you, it might just be a genuine, like she's just high interest. Like she just genuinely really digs you and wants to hang out. You know what I'm saying? And she's confident enough to be like, hey, let's do this. You know what I'm saying? It might not even be an opportunistic thing where she's not like a gold digger or whatever. She might just say, hey, I like Tones. I want to hang out. Let's do this. So yeah, I would agree with you. I think the same rules apply. You kind of feel it out, see how she is. And like for me, I'm kind of old school with that. Like I don't mind paying, I don't mind paying. But if I feel like the girl is taking advantage, if I feel like she's trying to just like a dish rag and squeeze me out, what I'm saying? Oh, I got we ordered to go for my kids and shit. Like that's where I'm like, okay, what? You got to draw that line, 100%.
And there, there's been times where I'm like, I ask a girl out and I'm like, hey, let's go. Do you want me to pick you up? Do you want to meet? Blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, oh, where are we going to eat? And I'll just say, for instance, just fucking a Mexican restaurant, right?
Right.
And sometimes I'll even say like Fridays or not Fridays. Fuck, who goes to Fridays anymore? Like Cheesecake Factory. I'm like, we're in Cheesecake Factory, and kind of just to see her response. It's not an expensive restaurant, it's not a cheap restaurant, but it's kind of in the middle. If she were to respond like, oh, why are we going there, or like, I don't like it there, and then she responds of like another restaurant that's more expensive, that's when you're like, okay, yeah,
Gotcha.
I'll let you know. You know what I'm saying? So that's another way of kind of like seeing, because for women that are listening, it's for us men, it is very hard to accept what they say at face value, because we know that women, and I'm not just saying women in general because men do this as well, but because men are the ones who have to pay, we have to try to see if they are just there for free food, because it sucks.
Right.
It's that thing where we ask a girl out, she wants to go to dinner, and we have to try to see if she's just there for the dinner or if she's actually there for us. And for men, it's hard to tell sometimes. Sometimes you'll get that nice girl where you actually think she's into you. She looks like she cares, and all of a sudden you don't hear from her for another fucking 2 months, and she just ghosted you.
Oh,
So, that it happens. It unfortunately it fucking happens to men more than women, because men are the ones who are supposed to pay. We're the providers, and that's the mindset that I have, at least in OG. But we have to play some kind of games where we have to see where you're at. Unfortunately, 100%. It's that way. It's just the way the fucking times are now.
No, it is.
No,
100%. I agree with you. And I'm glad you brought up ghosting. I was actually going to talk about that. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, for me personally, when it comes to ghosting, right? If I know the girl, for example, right? If I know the girl and I'm like, we've been talking for a while, and I'm like, okay, like I know she's got some mental health issues or something going on, I'm a little more patient, a little more forgiving. Like, I'll be like, okay, I know she's got some issues going on. Cool. It's been a week or two. whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'll kind of lay low, just let her come to me, right? 3, 4, 5 months go by or something like that. Is like, okay, nice, dude. You can shoot a 10-second text over or something, right? Like, so, like, where do you stand with ghosting? Like, how patient are you before you're like, you know what, I'm done, dude?
If I don't hear from you within, I want to say 3 days. If I don't hear from you in 3 days, like, I hope you're doing okay. Because we've all had anxiety. We've all had, some sort of, mental, not issues, but, mental blockage when it comes to, our day to day. Life isn't easy. We all have those days where we just don't feel like talking, which is
Right.
fine.
Yeah.
Most of the time, 3 days is where I kind of like, okay, I won't care about if you're gonna text me or not. But if you don't text me within a week, like 10 days at the very max, like I'm done. Like, even if you reach out and be like, oh, I was busy, I'm good. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
people go through shit. I understand that, but I know from there that especially if we haven't been talking that long, like, I know right there that you're definitely texting someone else. That's just the experience I've had. It's probably not the best, I'm not trying to give you advice, but this is the experience that I've had. I've had a girl hit me up after months of not talking to me, be like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And, trying to, you know, go on a date and stuff like that. Me knowing that she's been talking to one of my friends. Like,
Oh, like, you knew that. You
yeah.
knew.
Oh, yeah. I
Oh,
knew I knew exactly, and not he wasn't like my closest friend, but I knew she was talking to like an acquaintance of mine. And
oh my
and,
gosh.
and then she texted me like, hey, sorry, I've been going through a lot, blah blah blah. And that just is the experience I've had. Like I said, it's probably not the right thing to tell people or like give advice to, but that's the reason why I have such a low kind of, if you don't hit me up after 3 days and or 10 days, like, there's certain things that you can tell me where I'm like, okay, I understand. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like, you can send a text. I don't, communication is so fucking, it's so missed in relationships nowadays. It's
Yeah.
scary, dude. It's absolutely scary. And if you can't send me a text like, hey, I'm going through something right now. I need about 2 3 days just to clear my mind. Beautiful. I'm not even gonna think nothing about it. That's fine.
Yeah.
But if you can't be that communicative towards me, I'm good. I want someone who can tell me what's on their mind, and that doesn't look like they can.
Yeah, no, you need communication. If a relationship is going to work, you need communication. You need someone with emotional maturity to be able to tell you what's going on, and
Mhm.
that's why I hate ghosting,
Yep.
because it to me it speaks to, like, a lot of people in, like, the current generation. They think that that's like the easy way out, right? Like, oh, I don't like this person, or maybe I'm interested in somebody else, so I'm just going to ignore them and pretend like they don't exist. For me, that's the easy way out. It's a cop out. Like,
Yeah.
just tell that person, hey, I'm not feeling you. It's all good. I wish you the best. Oh, I got, you don't even have to, like, if you're worried about the response, send that text and then block them.
Yep.
But at least give
Exactly.
that person the courtesy of, like, a, hey, what's up? This is where I'm at. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Just to ignore somebody, I think is really messed up. You know what I'm saying? And, like, you're right. I mean, and this is the thing too with females, they're on the phone 24/7.
24/7.
They got your text, bro.
Yep.
They got your text. You know what I'm saying? They got your text. Hey, come on. If they're ignoring you for weeks and weeks and weeks, months on end, it's like you were saying, Tones. I completely agree with you. It's another dude, a
Yep.
100% another dude. And when that dude falls through, oh, I'll go to the backup. I'll text OG again, or I'll text Tones again, right? Like, that's not okay for me. You know what I'm
Not at
saying?
all.
I'll have patience. You want to text me and say, hey, you know what? I'm going through some shit right now. Give me like a few days, even a couple weeks. I'm good. I'll
Yep.
understand. I'm not like an asshole. You know what I'm saying? I had a death in the family. I'm going through some mental health shit. I'm whatever, cool. Just communicate that. You don't just ignore somebody. Yeah, man. It's just,
It's the worst because I'm an overthinker. I
so am
overthink
I.
shit way too much, and I'm thinking about, and not because I care about what happens next. I'm thinking about, okay, what should I do differently if I get in the situation with another person that I'm into?
Right.
Because there was a situation where I had a girl come visit me, and we were talking for a while, and like 10 days before she was going to come, she said, because she was taking a flight, she said, oh, my work said I can't leave, or I can't, we're too booked, I can't leave, which would have been fine. Like, I'm like, okay, well, maybe we'll just plan it out for a different day. And then, you know, there a couple days after, you see kind of discourse, you kind of push back a little bit. And I saw that be maybe a couple days before she canceled, and then a couple days after. And then I'm like, okay, I'm good. You clearly have something to work on that I obviously can't, you know, help you out with. That's fine. So, but it was more of ghosting, because I texted, I was like, hey, what's up? I texted twice, I double texted, hey, what's going on, how are you? I got nothing back for weeks. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fine, you go do you. I'm good. You stay over there. You stay over there. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But,
yeah, 100%.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Ghosting happens to guys and girls. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
a whole fucking thing nowadays. And you know, sometimes I hate talking about relationships, just because I'm a man and I'm talking about my experience. They think that, you know, some people think that it's a way of saying like all women are like this. I know most women are not like that.
Yeah.
But some are, and it just the way that men have to think nowadays is because of how certain women act. And it's common for us to get the same kind of response over and over and over. Yeah, we may attract the same female, but there's going to be that one where it's like, okay, you are different than the rest, even though you have same characteristics that I like in a woman, and you know, I've dated in the past. You're still different, and I could tell. And that's what we'd love to see, is the difference between the one that we didn't see, or the difference that we didn't see in the past relationships that we see now, and we love that shit.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that. And maybe that's part of the process. Maybe it's meant to be like that. So you have to go through a bunch of shitty things so you really appreciate the gem, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know, and yeah, I think right now with social media too, it's just far too easy just to ignore somebody and just to like not deal with it, you know? And it's just like, I'm not that guy. Like, if, you know, like I'll tell you like, hey, I'm not into you, or like, hey, you know, it's not working out, or I'm into somebody else, or I found somebody else. I mean, that, you just, as a common courtesy, you do that. And then once you say your piece, you're done. If they want to argue with you, then you can just block them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, just tell the person what's going on. Just tell them, hey, you know what? This is what happened. All good. But all too often nowadays, they don't.
You said it you said the perfect thing is the maturity in you to send that text saying, hey, I need a couple weeks. That's what we want to see. Like, if you really are going through something and you really need a couple days or a couple weeks, that's fine. Most men will be like, beautiful. You have your time. Hope you know, if you need me, let me know. Like, we love seeing and hearing the communication when it comes to you know, talking to a woman, especially if you guys are in that talking stage. You know, everyone has those mental, you know, not mental breakdowns, but you know, those mental blockages in our lives where we need a couple days to just, you know, sit back and figure things out. And I'm okay with talking to a woman who needs that space. And you know, I would feel like they would give me that same respect if I needed that space. But communication is not hard. A text, hey, I need a couple weeks, you know, we'll talk when I'm done, or you know, it's not that hard. And we want someone that is mature, and that's what we are attracted to, is maturity. So it'll be even better once those couple weeks pass and we do start talking again. Back to, you know, back to what we were doing.
Yeah, it's 100%. It's better for all parties too, because like whatever that communication is, whether even if the text message beforehand is like, hey, I'm not feeling you. Okay, that's where it starts. That's where it stops though. Like the dude ain't gonna pursue anymore, right? And then he's off your back. But if you just ghost, then you have to deal with this guy like, oh, what's up? What's going on, or whatever. You know, I don't do that, but like some guys will just continue to text and text and text and text and text. Why not just tell the dude the truth, and you can bypass all that bullshit? Like it's easier for her too, just to be honest. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And I respect that more. If I was talking to a girl and we went on a couple dates and she goes, hey, just want to let you know, you know, I just, you know, I think we should go our separate ways. You know, I'm not really, I don't think we have a future together, or whatever, however she wants to say it. Fucking thank you. I appreciate you. I respect the fuck out of you for telling me that, because you know, it doesn't happen a lot, but I respect you for that. And I'm okay with that. You know, have a good life. I wish the best for you. Move on. And it's a lot of people think, and I've had the same kind of mindset when I was younger, is how do I put this person down because I'm not interested in them. I don't see nothing going on with them in the future. Yeah, you go through that mind, you're that thinking of what should I tell them, but they will respect you more. I promise they will respect you more if you say like, hey, I don't see anything going on with this. I think we should go our separate ways. Beautiful, have a nice day. Like,
Oh,
it's that simple, but some people think it's so hard, dude. It's funny.
it's so hard. And some people like they feel like that's the better way. Yeah, like you were saying, the better way to let someone down. And it's worse
Mhm.
because you let someone stew in their assumptions. Because
Yeah.
literally that person has no idea whether you're a dude or a girl, right? Like if the dude is ghosting the girl, even like you have the person has no idea what went wrong, whether you found somebody else, whether you fucked up, whether you said something wrong or whatever. So it's like yeah, most people would rather know what happened and move on than sit there and go, "Oh, geez, what the hell happened? Like, what was it?" You know?
And
So it's crazy.
a guy will fucking sit there and think and think and think, what the fuck did I do? What the fuck did I do? I thought I was good, but ghosting sucks, man. It's really a thing that too many people think is okay to do, and it just sucks. It really does.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. The overthinking and all that it plays a huge role in it. So yeah, it does. It's not a cool thing to do, but yeah, it's the day and age we live in now, unfortunately,
Yeah.
you know. But Tonez Papi, I want to thank you for joining me today. Fun conversation. If you could let everybody at home know where they can find you on social media, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you again, OG, for having me. You know how much I love you, brother. And George, yeah, you guys can find me at Tones_TV on X and TikTok. YouTube channels. Go to Bad Thoughts Podcast and Bad Thoughts Studio. Guys, we are having so much fun over there, man. If there's any games or movies you guys want us to review or play on the podcast, or even topics you guys want us to talk about, go to one of our videos, put it in the comments. I'll write it down. We'll even shout out your names on who brought up this topic, stuff like that. We love doing. We love interacting with our followers and our subscribers and stuff like that. So go to Bad Thoughts Podcast and Bad Thoughts Studio on YouTube.
There he is. There he is. Make sure you follow this man and the Bad Thoughts crew. I will be linking it down below. Thank you so much for watching this episode of OG55. Comment with all your thoughts on everything we talked about today. Ghosting, nerdy stuff. Like, does your spouse or loved one, do they need to be into the same nerdy stuff you're into? Comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching this episode. Until the next time, see you.
Thank you for watching OG55. If you aren't already, consider becoming a member today.